Hello everyone. Welcome to Mr. English Lab. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our daily English tips. Our main goal here is very simple. We want to help you improve your English step by step, every single day. In this channel, we talk about useful expressions, real-life situations, and short stories that make learning English easier and more enjoyable. Learning English does not have to be stressful or boring. It can be fun, practical, and part of your daily life. Today, I want to share some simple daily experiences and conversations that can help you think in English and speak more naturally. Small daily moments are very powerful. They help you practice English without pressure. They also help you learn new words, improve your confidence, and understand how English is used in real life. Yesterday, while I was walking my dog, I met my neighbor, Mr. Thompson. He is a very friendly man and always has interesting stories to tell. He likes talking about his travels, his work, and his everyday life. This time, he told me a story about a simple trip to the supermarket. Mr. Thompson wanted to buy fresh vegetables, but when he arrived, the queue was very long. Usually, waiting in line makes people feel annoyed or impatient. But instead of getting upset, Mr. Thompson decided to start a conversation with the person in front of him. Her name was Mrs. Carter. She was kind, friendly, and loved cooking. They began talking casually. They shared small tips about shopping, cooking, and local markets. What could have been a boring wait turned into a pleasant moment. Because of this short conversation, Mr. Thompson learned something new and felt happier. Mrs. Carter even shared a simple lentil stew recipe with him. When he tried it at home, he said it was delicious and very easy to make. This story shows us something important. Even short and simple conversations can make our day better. They can teach us new skills, improve our English, and help us connect with other people. Moments like waiting in line or greeting a neighbor are great chances to practice English naturally. Another example comes from work. Last week, I watched my colleague Sarah handle a small problem in her office. A client sent an urgent email because there was a delivery mistake. Sarah needed to reply quickly, politely, and clearly. I noticed how carefully she wrote her message. First, she apologized and showed that she understood the client's concern. Then, she explained what her team would do to fix the problem. Finally, she offered a solution to make sure the client felt satisfied. Watching Sarah taught me how important clear and polite communication is. Good English helps solve problems, build trust, and create strong professional relationships. These stories remind us that learning English is not only about grammar rules or memorizing vocabulary. It is about using English in real life. Talking in a supermarket, writing an email, or helping someone in a park are all chances to practice. For example, one morning while jogging in the park, I saw a young man struggling to fix a bicycle. I walked over and asked if he needed help. His name was Daniel. He told me he had just moved to the city and did not know many people. While helping him, we talked about his hobbies, favorite places, and life in the city. This conversation helped me practice English naturally. I had to ask questions, explain things, and respond quickly. It was not planned, but it was very effective. Another simple experience happened at home. My wife and I decided to start a healthy morning routine. Every morning, we made fruit smoothies and talked about our plans for the day. Sometimes we did not have all the ingredients, so we had to improvise. Through this activity, I learned new words for fruits, kitchen tools, and polite ways to give suggestions. Even simple daily routines can help you learn English if you pay attention. Describe what you are doing, ask questions, and share ideas. Active use of English is much more powerful than only listening or reading. So remember, every small moment is a chance to improve your English. Smile, say hello, start a conversation, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. With practice, patience, and daily interactions, speaking and thinking in English will become easier and more enjoyable. We shared gardening techniques and even laughed about funny mistakes we had made while working in the garden. Using English in a hands-on and practical way like this helps you remember words and phrases much better than only reading or listening. When you use English while doing something real, the language stays in your mind longer. Even in an office environment, real conversations are great learning tools. I often notice how my colleagues speak to each other in polite and natural ways. For example, when someone arrives late to a meeting, people usually do not say, "You are late." Instead, they use friendly and professional expressions like, "We were just about to begin," or "Glad you could join us." These small changes in language make communication smoother and more respectful. Learning English is truly everywhere. Helping someone in the park, making smoothies at home, joining a community gardening project, or listening to office conversations all help you improve. The most important thing is to participate actively. Do not only watch or listen. Ask questions, explain things, share ideas, and respond naturally. These small daily interactions make English learning practical, memorable, and enjoyable. Simple activities such as chatting during a walk, helping a neighbor, cooking, or gardening may seem ordinary, but they are powerful tools. They help build confidence, expand vocabulary, and make English feel natural. Learning through real experiences is much more meaningful than only memorizing rules or words. Even small changes in tone can make a big difference. In the office, saying, "It's great you could make it," sounds much friendlier than saying, "You are late." Practicing these polite expressions with friends, family, or coworkers improves your English and makes conversations more comfortable. English becomes even more useful when you travel. I remember going to the train station to buy a ticket. The ticket clerk, Mr. Lewis, asked where I wanted to go and what type of seat I preferred. I explained clearly and politely. Because of this, he gave me helpful advice about the fastest route and the best trains. This experience showed me how clear and confident English can make real-life communication easier. Casual social situations are also great for practice. One Sunday, I went to a coffee shop and noticed a group of people talking about their favorite books. I joined them and talked about a book I had read about sustainable living. I explained the story, shared my opinions, and asked questions. This kind of conversation helps you practice higher-level English skills like sharing ideas and connecting thoughts naturally. English does not need to be separate from daily life. You can practice it while doing simple things like morning routines, office work, community projects, or talking with neighbors. Every moment is an opportunity to improve your vocabulary and speaking skills. For example, yesterday I went to the local library to return some books. While I was there, I met Mr. Akund, a teacher who helps organize reading sessions for children. I watched him encourage a young boy to ask questions about a story. This reminded me how important clear language and good questions are for learning. English is not only about words, but also about how we explain ideas and communicate clearly. Daily life gives us endless chances to practice English. From office conversations and social meetings to library visits and travel situations, every experience can help you grow. The key is to notice these moments, take part actively, and speak with confidence and politeness. Remember, learning English is not just about studying books. It is about living the language every day. By practicing in real situations, observing how others speak, and joining conversations, you can make steady progress. Small, consistent efforts will slowly turn English into a natural and comfortable part of your life. One of the best ways to improve your English skills is to use the language naturally and confidently in daily life. Yesterday, I visited the local library and met Mr. Akund, a kind teacher who volunteers to help children with reading. He was helping a young boy choose books based on his interests and reading level. I watched them carefully and noticed how Mr. Ahmed used simple but expressive English. He spoke clearly, used easy words, and asked questions to keep the boy interested and focused. Later, Mr. Ahmed and I talked about reading habits. I told him that I enjoy biographies and travel stories because they help me learn about different cultures and real-life experiences. In return, he shared some more advanced words related to history and art. As we talked, I tried to use those new words in my own sentences right away. This is a very effective way to learn vocabulary. Instead of memorizing words from a book, you learn them naturally by using them in real conversations. That same evening, I helped my neighbor, Mrs. Patel, with her new smartphone. She had recently upgraded her phone but did not know how to set up her calendar and reminders. I explained everything step by step in English. I told her to tap the calendar icon, choose a date, and set the time. She asked questions about notifications and syncing events. While helping her, I realized that teaching someone in English is excellent practice. It forces you to speak slowly, choose the right words, and organize your thoughts clearly. Helping others like this improves both speaking and listening skills. This morning, I joined a small yoga class at the community center. The instructor, Mr. Daniel, gave most of the instructions in English. He explained each pose carefully and added short tips about breathing and posture. During the class, some students, including me, asked questions about correct positioning. Asking questions politely in English is very important, especially in learning or professional situations. After the class, I talked with my wife about what I had learned and explained some new words and phrases. Repeating what you learn and sharing it with someone else helps you remember it better. Another helpful experience happened last weekend when I assisted my friend, Mr. Rob, with a small home project. While working together, we had to explain ideas, ask questions, and clarify instructions in English. Doing physical tasks while speaking English is very effective because it connects actions with language. When you use words immediately, they stay in your memory longer. From all these experiences, helping children at the library, teaching a neighbor, joining a yoga class, or working with a friend, you can see that English learning does not need to be separate from daily life. Everyday activities are full of opportunities to practice. The key is to notice these moments and take part actively. Speaking slowly, choosing clear words, asking polite questions, and explaining ideas carefully all help build confidence and fluency. Learning English in this way helps you do more than just learn vocabulary. It teaches you how to respond naturally, understand others better, and communicate clearly. Each real-life interaction makes your English stronger and more meaningful. Last weekend, I also helped my friend Mr. Roberts organize a small charity event. We had to speak with vendors, volunteers, and guests. Each situation required a different style of English. When talking to vendors, I used more formal language, such as, "Could you please confirm the delivery time?" or "We would appreciate it if you could provide an invoice." When speaking with volunteers, I used a friendlier tone, saying things like, "Thank you for helping today. We really appreciate it." Switching between formal and informal English in real situations helps build flexibility and confidence. During lunch yesterday, I went to a cafe and overheard two people talking about their weekend plans. One of them mentioned going hiking. I politely joined the conversation and asked questions about the trail, the time needed, and the equipment required. This short exchange turned into a longer conversation where we shared tips, safety advice, and funny hiking stories. Casual conversations like this are excellent practice for asking questions, giving opinions, and telling stories naturally. Even at home, English practice is easy. Last night, my wife and I cooked dinner together using a new recipe. I explained each step clearly while she followed along. I said things like, chop the onions finely and cook them until they turn golden, and be careful not to burn them, or the taste will change. She asked questions, and I answered carefully using complete and clear sentences. All these simple moments show that English can be practiced anywhere. Learning through experience is enjoyable, effective, and practical. When you use English every day in conversations, instructions, questions, and explanations, it becomes a natural part of your life. This daily practice helps you speak with confidence in any situation. Explaining instructions clearly and politely during daily activities is a great way to improve both speaking and listening skills. When you explain something step by step, you learn how to choose the right words, speak calmly, and make sure the other person understands you. Yesterday, I visited a nearby pharmacy to buy some vitamins. The pharmacist, Mr. Evans, explained the differences between several supplements. He talked about their benefits and told me which ones might be best for my needs. I listened carefully, asked follow-up questions, and repeated some information to be sure I understood everything. This kind of real-life interaction helps you remember new vocabulary much better than studying from a book. All these experiences, from organizing a charity event, chatting with people at a cafe, cooking at home, to visiting a pharmacy, show that English learning is everywhere. Everyday life gives us many chances to practice. You just need to notice these moments and take part actively. Speaking politely, explaining clearly, asking questions, and responding naturally are skills that grow stronger with real practice. When you use English in real conversations, you learn more than just words. You learn how to communicate effectively. You practice switching between formal and informal language, asking for advice, giving instructions, and sharing personal experiences. All of these help build strong and natural English skills. Small moments in daily life, at work, at home, or in the community can become powerful lessons in vocabulary, grammar, and culture. Learning English this way is practical, enjoyable, and meaningful. Over time, you feel more confident speaking in both casual and professional situations. These small and consistent interactions improve fluency, strengthen listening skills, and make English a natural part of everyday life. Yesterday, when I was at the pharmacy, I needed to be careful about the correct dosage of vitamins. I used words like daily intake, nutritional value, and side effects. The pharmacist also asked me questions to make sure I understood everything. I answered clearly and politely. Situations like this are perfect for practicing clear and professional English. You learn how to explain your needs, understand instructions, and ask the right questions. In the evening, I took my dog to the park and noticed a group of people playing chess. One of them, Mr. Jackson, invited me to join. I am not an expert, but while playing, we talked about chess strategies, past games, and favorite players. I explained my moves, asked questions, and commented politely on the game. This kind of conversation is fun and challenging. It helps you practice descriptive language and more advanced vocabulary naturally. Even simple tasks like grocery shopping can help you practice English. While buying fruits and vegetables, I spoke with the store manager, Mr. Carter, about seasonal produce. He explained which fruits were fresh, how long they would last, and which ones were best for certain recipes. I asked follow-up questions and repeated key points to make sure I understood. This active engagement makes English more practical and easier to remember. This morning, while walking in my neighborhood, I saw a group of residents discussing plans to improve the local park. I decided to join the conversation and introduce myself. One of the organizers, Mr. Harris, explained their plan to plant flowers and add benches. I asked questions like which flowers are easy to maintain and how often the benches would be painted. He answered clearly, and I repeated some important words to help remember them. Joining community discussions like this is a great way to practice English naturally. It helps you ask questions, understand instructions, and communicate politely while learning new vocabulary. From all these experiences, asking questions at a pharmacy, playing chess in the park, talking to a grocery store manager, or joining a neighborhood meeting, you can see that English practice is everywhere. You do not need a classroom. The world around you is full of opportunities. The key is to notice these moments, participate actively, and communicate clearly. Speaking politely, asking thoughtful questions, and responding naturally will improve both your confidence and your English skills. Using English every day makes learning enjoyable and effective. Each interaction, whether professional, social, or casual, becomes a small lesson. Over time, English becomes a natural part of your life. You begin to think and speak in English without hesitation. Small everyday experiences can turn into powerful tools for building vocabulary, fluency, and strong communication skills. Practicing English in real conversations is excellent for developing advanced skills. It helps you listen carefully, ask thoughtful questions, and respond clearly and confidently. These abilities grow only when you use English in real situations. Later, I went to a nearby bakery to buy fresh bread for breakfast. While waiting in line, I overheard two customers talking about a new cafe opening in the city. I politely joined their conversation and shared my thoughts about cafes in general. One of them, Mrs. Simmons, said she had recently attended a coffee tasting workshop. I asked questions such as, what was the most surprising thing you learned? And do you have a favorite type of coffee? This simple moment turned into a 15-minute discussion where we exchanged opinions and recommendations. Conversations like this help you practice descriptive language, asking questions, and expressing ideas naturally. After that, I met my friend Mr. Collins at the gym. We talked about fitness routines and healthy eating habits. He shared his experience with a high-protein diet, and I explained a new exercise routine I had started. We used technical words like repetitions, sets, muscle groups, and recovery time. Discussing health and fitness is a great way to build vocabulary for specialized topics and learn how to speak clearly and confidently about technical subjects. In the afternoon, I visited a small bookstore. The owner, Mr. Wilson, was organizing new books when I asked him for recommendations. He suggested several contemporary novels and explained why each one was worth reading. I asked follow-up questions about the authors, the themes, and the writing style. This conversation helped me practice curiosity, analysis, and descriptive language. Even a short chat in a bookstore can be a valuable English lesson. These experiences, community discussions, conversations in a bakery, talks at the gym, and chats in a bookstore show that English learning can happen anywhere. You do not need a classroom. Everyday situations offer endless opportunities to improve your language skills. Listening carefully, asking polite questions, and responding naturally all help you communicate more effectively. Both casual conversations and more serious discussions play an important role in improving fluency. Whether you are talking about coffee, fitness, books, or daily life, each interaction strengthens your English and introduces new expressions. Later, I had another useful experience at the local post office. I needed to send a package abroad, so I spoke with the clerk, Mr. Peterson. I asked about shipping options, delivery times, and tracking services. He explained everything in detail, and I repeated key information to make sure I understood. I also used polite expressions like, "Could you please explain that again?" and "Is it possible to track the package online?" Situations like this are perfect for practicing functional and formal English. In the evening, I visited my friend Mr. Roberts for dinner. He enjoys cooking international food, especially Italian dishes. While helping him in the kitchen, he explained each step of the recipe carefully. I asked about cooking techniques and ingredients, and he used words like al dente, simmer, and marinate. Cooking together is a great way to practice English naturally while learning new vocabulary. After dinner, we talked about recent news events. Mr. Roberts shared an article about environmental projects, and I talked about a renewable energy initiative I had read about. We discussed different opinions using phrases such as "in my opinion," "I would argue that," and "on the other hand." Talking about current events is excellent practice for advanced English because it requires clear thinking, structured sentences, and formal but natural language. All these experiences show that English learning is part of everyday life. Each conversation, whether casual or formal, becomes a lesson. Over time, these repeated real-life interactions help you think in English and speak confidently without effort. Recently, I helped my colleague, Mrs. Adams, prepare a presentation for an upcoming work project. During our online meeting, we discussed the structure of the presentation, the main points, and the use of visual aids. I suggested simple phrases to make her presentation sound more professional and clear, such as to summarize, "Let's move on to," and "this highlights." Speaking in a professional online setting like this is excellent practice. It helps you focus on clear sentence structure, polite expressions, and careful word choice, which are all very important skills in the workplace. These experiences, going to the post office, helping a friend cook, discussing news topics, and joining virtual meetings, show that English practice is truly everywhere. Every interaction, no matter how small, can help improve your vocabulary, grammar, and confidence. Real-life situations teach you how to listen carefully, ask questions politely, respond appropriately, and choose between casual or formal language depending on the situation. By taking part actively in daily activities, you learn more than just words. You learn how to communicate effectively. Following instructions at the post office, discussing cooking techniques, debating current events, or giving advice in meetings all strengthen your English skills naturally. Small moments like helping a friend or asking a simple question can become powerful learning experiences. Yesterday, I also helped Mrs. Adams prepare for an upcoming conference. I assisted her in organizing her ideas logically and suggested smooth transitions between key points. While explaining, I used phrases such as "to summarize," "this point shows," and "let's move on to the next topic." Helping someone structure their ideas is a great way to practice professional English because it trains you to explain thoughts clearly and persuasively. Later that evening, I went for a short walk after dinner and noticed a small group of people playing tennis at a nearby court. I joined them and met Mr. Thompson, who shared tips on improving serves and footwork. While practicing, we talked about tennis rules, game strategies, and favorite players. These conversations helped me use action verbs, sports vocabulary, and conditional sentences naturally. Physical activities combined with conversation are an excellent way to practice English in a relaxed and natural way. On my way home, I stopped at a convenience store to buy a few items. The cashier, Mr. White, asked if I needed help. I asked questions like, "Which brand of olive oil do you recommend?" and "Do you have low-sugar options?" This short conversation turned into a friendly discussion about product quality and preferences. Even brief exchanges like this help you practice asking questions, describing items, and responding politely. This morning, I visited the bank to open a new savings account. I spoke with a bank officer, Mr. Green, about account types, interest rates, and online banking services. I asked for clarification and repeated important information to make sure I understood everything correctly. Situations like this are perfect for practicing formal English and learning useful financial vocabulary. All these experiences, from helping a colleague with a presentation, playing tennis, shopping at a store, to visiting the bank, show that English learning can happen anywhere. Each activity gives you a chance to use English in a practical and meaningful way. By listening carefully, asking polite questions, responding clearly, and using the right tone, you naturally improve your speaking and listening skills. Whether you are explaining instructions, giving advice, describing objects, or asking for information, every interaction becomes a small lesson. Over time, these repeated experiences help you communicate fluently and confidently in both casual and professional settings. Using English in daily life makes learning enjoyable, effective, and practical. While walking home later, I noticed a young man struggling to carry a heavy bag of groceries. I offered to help, and he introduced himself as Daniel. As we walked together, we talked about daily routines, favorite foods, and local shops. This simple conversation reminded me once again that English practice is everywhere. You just need to notice the moment and take part. Learning English through real-life experience makes the language feel natural. With small, consistent efforts every day, you begin to think and speak in English smoothly and confidently. Activities that require descriptive language, comparisons, and opinions are excellent for practicing advanced English. In these situations, you must explain ideas clearly, compare styles or methods, and respond thoughtfully. This helps strengthen both vocabulary and fluency. All these experiences, from helping a neighbor, joining art or music activities, to planning a trip with my wife, show that English learning can happen everywhere. Both planned and spontaneous interactions give us many chances to practice listening, speaking, and thinking in English. Using descriptive words, asking questions, responding naturally, and taking part actively all improve communication skills. Learning English through real-life situations makes it practical and meaningful. Social conversations, creative workshops, travel planning, and discussions about music or hobbies naturally teach vocabulary, expressions, and grammar. Over time, these repeated experiences make English part of your everyday thinking. You begin to speak with confidence, express ideas clearly, and respond without hesitation. Yesterday, I visited the community swimming pool. While waiting for my turn, I talked with Mr. Richards about swimming techniques, training schedules, and health benefits. I asked detailed questions about different strokes and breathing methods. Conversations about sports and health help expand vocabulary in specialized areas. They also teach you how to understand instructions and explain ideas clearly. In the evening, I met Mr. Bennett, a photographer at a local cafe. He had recently returned from a travel assignment, and we talked about photography techniques, camera equipment, and the places he had visited. I asked questions about lighting, composition, and photo editing. He explained everything using clear but technical language. Conversations like this are great for advanced English practice because they combine storytelling, technical vocabulary, and natural interaction. This morning, while walking through the city center, I discovered a small farmer's market. Curious, I decided to explore and talk with the vendors. The first person I met was Mr. Harrison, who sold homemade jams. I asked about his favorite flavors, and he explained how he makes raspberry and apricot preserves. He also gave advice on storing them properly. I repeated new words like preserve, seasonal, and fermentation to help remember them. Next, I visited a stall selling handmade crafts. The artisan, Mrs. Foster, showed me different pottery pieces she had made. I asked questions such as, how do you prevent the clay from cracking, and which glaze do you use for a smooth finish? She explained each step carefully and encouraged me to notice differences in texture and style. These conversations helped me practice descriptive language, polite questions, and technical terms in a fun and relaxed way. Exploring a farmer's market like this shows that English practice can happen anywhere. By asking questions, listening carefully, repeating new words, and engaging in conversation, you learn naturally. Each interaction, whether about swimming, photography, food, or crafts, offers a meaningful chance to improve your English. Later that day, Mrs. Foster invited me to try shaping a small pot myself. While working with the clay, I had to describe my actions and ask for guidance in English. It was challenging, but very rewarding. Using descriptive language during hands-on activities helps you remember vocabulary and practice explaining processes clearly. After that, I went to another cafe and met a customer named Mr. Evans, who was reading a newspaper. I asked him about an article that caught my attention. He explained that it discussed a new environmental project to reduce plastic waste. I asked follow-up questions about how the project would work and which organizations were involved. This conversation required careful listening, clear questions, and thoughtful responses. All these moments show that everyday life can become a classroom for learning English. From markets and cafes to sports centers and creative activities, every situation offers a chance to practice. Over time, these experiences help you describe ideas fluently, ask questions confidently, and share your thoughts clearly. Learning English this way makes practice enjoyable, practical, and effective. Even small moments, talking to a vendor, meeting a photographer, or discussing a news article can become powerful lessons in language, culture, and communication. Discussing current events and social projects is a great way to practice advanced English. These conversations help you think deeply, express opinions clearly, and use more technical vocabulary in real situations. When you talk about real topics that matter, your English becomes more natural and confident. In the afternoon, I helped my neighbor, Mr. Brooks, assemble a small bookshelf. While we were working, we talked about different types of wood, screws, and tools. I asked questions like, which type of wood is more durable, and do you usually use a manual or an electric screwdriver? Mr. Brooks explained each step slowly and clearly. He described what to do and why it was important. This activity helped me practice both instructional English and casual conversation at the same time. Practical tasks like this are excellent for learning functional vocabulary and improving clear explanations. After that, I took a short break at a nearby park. There, I saw a group of people practicing Tai Chi. I watched quietly for a few minutes and then approached one of the instructors, Mr. Liu. I asked him about the benefits of Tai Chi and the techniques involved. He demonstrated a few movements and explained each one step by step. I repeated his instructions in my own words to make sure I understood correctly. Practicing English during physical activities like this helps you use action verbs, descriptive phrases, and polite questions naturally. These experiences, from pottery and cafe conversations to assembling furniture and observing Tai Chi, show that English learning can happen anywhere. Each activity requires careful listening, polite questions, clear responses, and precise language. Hands-on practice, interactive discussions, and learning by observing others all help improve vocabulary, sentence structure, and fluency. Tai Chi is especially useful for language learning because it combines listening, understanding, and describing movements accurately. When you listen carefully and repeat instructions while moving, you improve both comprehension and speaking skills at the same time. Later, I visited a local bookstore to look for travel guides. The owner, Mr. Matthews, was arranging books about Europe. I explained that I wanted travel guides with practical advice for first-time travelers. He recommended several books and described their content in detail. I asked questions about cultural etiquette, transportation, and safety tips. This conversation helped me practice asking detailed questions, understanding explanations, and summarizing information clearly in English. In the evening, I joined a cooking class with my wife. The instructor, Mr. Carter, was teaching how to make homemade bread. As we followed his instructions, I asked questions about kneading techniques, fermentation time, and oven temperature. I described what I was doing and asked for clarification when needed. Cooking classes are excellent for English practice because they require clear, precise language and allow you to repeat words through action and explanation. Later that night, I went to a community library to attend a short lecture on renewable energy. The speaker, Mr. Singh, talked about solar panels, wind turbines, and hydroelectric systems. I asked questions about energy efficiency, cost, and environmental impact. His answers included technical terms, so I repeated and paraphrased them in my own words to be sure I understood. Listening to lectures like this helps you experience professional and academic English in real situations. After the lecture, I joined a small discussion group at the library cafe. People shared personal experiences about saving energy, recycling, and using sustainable products. I shared my own ideas and asked follow-up questions. These discussions are excellent for advanced English practice because they require careful listening, critical thinking, and clear expression of opinions. All these experiences, from bookstores and cooking classes to lectures and discussion groups, show that English learning can happen in many real-life situations. By actively taking part, asking questions, repeating new words, and summarizing information, you strengthen your speaking, listening, and thinking skills. Using English in daily activities makes learning practical, enjoyable, and meaningful. Exploring books, cooking, attending lectures, and joining group discussions help you expand your vocabulary and improve fluency naturally. Every interaction teaches you how to describe actions, ask relevant questions, explain ideas clearly, and communicate with confidence. Over time, English becomes a natural part of your daily life. When you respond politely and practice regularly in real-life situations, English slowly becomes a natural part of your thinking and communication. With consistent use, you no longer have to translate in your head. Instead, you begin to think, speak, and respond naturally in English. During the library discussion, one of the participants, Mr. Roberts, explained how he switched to energy-efficient appliances in his home. I listened carefully and asked questions about how he made the changes, how much they cost, and what benefits he noticed over time. This conversation helped me practice expressing opinions, explaining cause and effect, and using technical vocabulary in a natural way. Talking about real solutions in English is an excellent way to develop advanced language skills in everyday situations. Yesterday, I also organized my home office. While sorting files and documents, I thought about how to explain the process in English. I told my wife that I was categorizing papers into urgent, important, and reference sections. She asked questions about my system, and I explained each step clearly. Using English to describe organization methods helped me improve clarity, precision, and useful vocabulary for daily communication. Later, I visited a small electronics store to buy a new laptop charger. The salesperson, Mr. Daniels, explained compatibility options, voltage requirements, and warranty details. I asked specific questions such as, is this charger compatible with older laptops, and how long does the battery usually last? Conversations like this help improve technical vocabulary and prepare you for professional or technical discussions in English. In the afternoon, I joined a community cleanup event. I met several new people, including Mr. Thompson, who was organizing the activity. We discussed cleaning strategies, equipment distribution, and volunteer schedules. I asked questions about group organization and shift planning. Volunteering is a great opportunity to practice English related to leadership, teamwork, and planning. Using polite and clear language while managing tasks is especially helpful for advanced learners. Later that day, I stopped at a local flower shop. The florist, Mrs. Evans, explained the different types of flowers, how to care for them, and which ones last the longest. I asked questions about seasonal flowers and gift arrangements. I repeated words like bouquet, perennial, and floral arrangement to help remember them. Conversations in shops, whether about flowers or electronics, help improve question-asking skills, clear responses, and descriptive language. These experiences, from energy discussions and office organization to shopping, volunteering, and casual conversations, show that English can be practiced in many real-life situations. Each interaction encourages careful listening, thoughtful questions, and clear responses. Active participation in daily activities helps build fluency, expand vocabulary, and improve confidence. At the flower shop, I also learned the difference between seasonal flowers and exotic plants. I asked about sunlight needs, watering schedules, and care instructions. I even asked for advice on creating a small indoor arrangement. This interaction required descriptive language, polite question forms, and clear responses, all of which are essential communication skills. In the evening, I visited a nearby art gallery. The curator, Mr. Lee, gave me a tour and explained the themes and techniques used in each exhibit. I asked detailed questions about brushwork, color theory, and historical background. Using English in cultural settings like this helps improve analytical thinking, descriptive skills, and advanced vocabulary in an engaging way. Later, I joined a small discussion at a community center about healthy eating. Participants, including Mr. Harrison and Mr. Carter, shared ideas about meal planning, balanced diets, and portion control. I asked questions, clarified points, and shared my own experiences. These discussions are excellent for practicing functional English, expressing opinions, and using more complex sentence structures. At night, I reflected on the day by reviewing my notes. I summarized the conversations, the people I met, and the new vocabulary I learned. Describing events and experiences in English helps strengthen memory, improve fluency, and reinforce advanced expressions and sentence patterns. This morning, I tried a new jogging route and met Mr. Bennett, a fitness coach. We talked about building stamina, staying hydrated, and maintaining daily exercise routines. I asked for advice on long-distance running and injury prevention. He explained everything clearly, and I repeated the phrases to help remember them. Talking about sports and health topics is another great way to practice practical and specialized English. All these moments show that English learning does not only happen in classrooms. Everyday life, when used actively, becomes a powerful learning environment. With regular practice, English becomes natural, confident, and easy to use in any situation. These activities help practice technical vocabulary, following instructions, giving advice, and explaining ideas clearly throughout the day. Every interaction, whether at a flower shop, an art gallery, a community center, or during jogging, offers a chance to practice different parts of English. Some situations focus on describing things, others on learning technical words, sharing opinions, or explaining steps clearly. Many moments also require polite questions and thoughtful answers. Practicing English in real life like this helps learners use the language naturally instead of only studying it from books. By actively participating in daily activities, repeating useful phrases, asking questions, and summarizing experiences, you slowly improve both fluency and confidence. Each conversation, whether about flowers, art, healthy eating, or fitness, strengthens listening, speaking, and thinking skills. Using English in real situations makes learning practical, enjoyable, and effective. Talking about health topics in English is especially helpful because it combines specialized vocabulary with natural conversation. Later, I visited a local charity shop. The manager, Mr. Adams, explained how donations are sorted, organized, and distributed. I asked questions about volunteer recruitment, store management, and fundraising plans. This conversation helped me learn organizational vocabulary and practice polite questioning and careful listening in a real-world setting. In the afternoon, I joined a photography walk with Mr. Jackson, a professional photographer. We talked about camera settings, lighting, and composition. While taking photos, I explained why I chose certain angles, asked for feedback, and described the scenery in detail. Creative activities like photography help improve descriptive language, vocabulary, and the ability to give and follow instructions naturally. Later, I visited a small bakery to watch the baking process. The head baker, Mr. White, explained how to knead dough, prepare fillings, and bake bread evenly. I asked questions about oven temperature, timing, and ingredient substitutes. These technical discussions helped me build practical vocabulary and improve my understanding of instructions that are useful in everyday life. In the evening, I went to a local chess club. I met Mr. Richards, who shared tips and strategies for improving gameplay. While playing, we talked about openings, tactics, and past matches. I explained my moves, asked for advice, and analyzed decisions in English. Activities that involve strategy and planning are excellent for practicing logical thinking, sequencing ideas, and analytical vocabulary. Later that night, I joined a group of neighbors planning a community garden. Mr. Green explained soil types, planting schedules, and irrigation methods. I asked questions about plant compatibility, growth cycles, and care instructions. Using English in practical projects like gardening helps improve descriptive language, technical vocabulary, and polite communication while solving real problems. From health discussions and charity work to photography, baking, chess, and gardening, each activity offered meaningful opportunities to use English. I had to listen carefully, ask questions, describe actions, explain ideas, and respond thoughtfully. These real-life situations teach more than vocabulary. They help you think in English, express ideas clearly, and communicate naturally. By staying active in daily life, asking questions, repeating phrases, explaining actions, and summarizing experiences, you slowly build fluency and confidence. Even simple activities like visiting a bakery, joining a chess club, or planning a garden can become powerful lessons for advanced English practice. Everyday conversations help learners use English naturally, expand vocabulary, and apply grammar and sentence structures in real-world situations. Discussing gardening and organic farming, for example, helps practice specialized vocabulary, process explanations, and polite interaction. This morning, I visited a local farmers cooperative. I met Mr. Davidson, who manages the distribution of fresh produce from nearby farms. I asked how they ensure quality, which fruits and vegetables are most popular, and how seasonal changes affect supply. He explained the process step by step, including harvesting, storage, and transportation. While listening, I repeated important phrases and asked follow-up questions like, how long does produce stay fresh without refrigeration? And do you focus on organic products? Conversations like this naturally build advanced vocabulary while improving polite questioning and thoughtful responses. Later, I went to a community swimming pool and met Mr. Franklin, a coach who specializes in swimming techniques. He explained breathing rhythm, body position, and arm movement. I asked for tips on endurance swimming, and he demonstrated the movements slowly so I could follow. While practicing, I listened carefully and repeated the instructions in my own words. All these experiences show that English learning is everywhere. When you use English in daily life, it becomes easier, more natural, and more confident with every conversation. Suggestions in English. Activities that combine strategy with discussion are: perfect for practicing conditionals, sequencing words, and logical reasoning. In everyday conversational English. After the chess session, I attended a cooking workshop with my wife. The chef, Mr. Anderson, demonstrated how to make a traditional vegetable curry. I asked questions about spice combinations, cooking order, and simmering times. While following his instructions, I described each step and asked for clarification when needed. Cooking workshops like this provide natural opportunities to use action verbs, sequencing language, and polite questioning. They are excellent for learners who want to practice English while engaging in hands-on activities. Yesterday, I also visited a local art supply store to buy materials for a painting project. The owner, Mr. Carter, explained the differences between watercolors, acrylics, and oil paints. I asked questions about which paints are best for beginners, how to mix colors effectively, and the types of brushes to use for different techniques. While exploring, I practiced describing materials and asking for advice politely. Engaging with people in real life settings like this helps learners combine technical vocabulary, descriptive language, and conversational skills naturally. Every interaction, whether it is a seminar, a chess game, a cooking class, or shopping for art supplies, provides valuable opportunities to practice English. You learn how to listen carefully, ask meaningful questions, and respond clearly. Repeating keywords, paraphrasing explanations, and explaining your own thoughts help reinforce vocabulary and improve fluency. These practical experiences also show that English learning does not need to be separate from daily life. By observing, participating, and asking questions, you naturally improve your speaking, listening, and comprehension skills while also gaining confidence to use English in different social, cultural, and professional contexts. In the afternoon, I visited a local art supply store to ask about brushes, mixing techniques, and paper quality. I described the type of artwork I wanted to create and asked for recommendations. These interactions help learners practice expressive language, question forms, and specialized vocabulary in everyday contexts. Later, I went to the post office to send a package. The postal clerk, Mr. Harrison, explained the different shipping options, delivery times, and customs requirements. I asked questions like, what is the fastest option for international delivery, and are there any restrictions for fragile items? This practical scenario allowed me to practice polite requests, clarifying questions, and understanding procedural English. During the evening, I joined a local volunteer group organizing a charity event. Mr. Thompson explained tasks like setting up tables, coordinating volunteers, and preparing materials. I asked questions about scheduling, responsibilities, and required resources. Participating in volunteer work helps learners practice teamwork, vocabulary, polite interaction, and functional English used in real-life scenarios. Later, I visited a local library to attend a book discussion. Mr. Edwards led the session and asked participants about their favorite characters and themes. I shared my thoughts about a novel I recently read, described the plot, and asked questions about other participants' opinions. Discussing literature helps learners practice narrative language, expressing opinions and engaging in meaningful dialogue. Yesterday evening, I met a friend, Mr. Lewis, at a small coffee shop. We talked about recent technological trends including smartphones, laptops, and wearable devices. I asked questions about their features, usability, and value. Our discussion involved comparing options, explaining preferences, and giving recommendations. Conversations like these combine practical, everyday topics with more advanced vocabulary, encouraging learners to express ideas clearly, ask relevant questions, and use English naturally in diverse situations. Conversations about technology are a great way to practice both formal and informal English while learning specific vocabulary. During the night, I reviewed my notes from the day, reflecting on new words, phrases, and sentence structures I had used. I practiced summarizing each conversation and describing my experiences aloud. Reflection helps reinforce vocabulary, improve fluency, and strengthen comprehension of complex sentence structures. This morning I visited a local farmer's market again, where Mr. Robinson explained how organic certification works. I asked questions about labeling, pricing, and seasonal availability. While listening, I repeated technical terms and discussed the process with another shopper, Mr. Jenkins. Conversations like this provide opportunities to practice precise vocabulary, explain processes, and engage in extended dialogue. Later, I participated in a short painting class at the community center. The instructor, Mr. Bennett, explained shading, perspective, and color blending. I asked questions about techniques for depth and highlighting. While painting, I described my choices and asked for suggestions. Creative workshops like this are excellent for practicing. These activities help practice technical vocabulary, following instructions, giving advice, and explaining ideas clearly throughout the day. Every interaction, whether at a flower shop, an art gallery, a community center, or during jogging, offers a chance to practice different parts of English. Some situations focus on describing things, others on learning technical words, sharing opinions, or explaining steps clearly. Many moments also require polite questions and thoughtful answers. Practicing English in real life like this helps learners use the language naturally instead of only studying it from books. By actively participating in daily activities, repeating useful phrases, asking questions, and summarizing experiences, you slowly improve both fluency and confidence. Each conversation, whether about flowers, art, healthy eating, or fitness, strengthens listening, speaking, and thinking skills. Using English in real situations makes learning practical, enjoyable, and effective. Talking about health topics in English is especially helpful because it combines specialized vocabulary with natural conversation. Later, I visited a local charity shop. The manager, Mr. Adams, explained how donations are sorted, organized, and distributed. I asked questions about volunteer recruitment, store management, and fundraising plans. This conversation helped me learn organizational vocabulary and practice polite questioning and careful listening in a real-world setting. In the afternoon, I joined a photography walk with Mr. Jackson, a professional photographer. We talked about camera settings, lighting, and composition. While taking photos, I explained why I chose certain angles, asked for feedback, and described the scenery in detail. Creative activities like photography help improve descriptive language, vocabulary, and the ability to give and follow instructions naturally. Later, I visited a small bakery to watch the baking process. The head baker, Mr. White, explained how to knead dough, prepare fillings, and bake bread evenly. I asked questions about oven temperature, timing, and ingredient substitutes. These technical discussions helped me build practical vocabulary and improve my understanding of instructions that are useful in everyday life. In the evening, I went to a local chess club. I met Mr. Richards, who shared tips and strategies for improving gameplay. While playing, we talked about openings, tactics, and past matches. I explained my moves, asked for advice, and analyzed decisions in English. Activities that involve strategy and planning are excellent for practicing logical thinking, sequencing ideas, and analytical vocabulary. Later that night, I joined a group of neighbors planning a community garden. Mr. Green explained soil types, planting schedules, and irrigation methods. I asked questions about plant compatibility, growth cycles, and care instructions. Using English in practical projects like gardening helps improve descriptive language, technical vocabulary, and polite communication while solving real problems. From health discussions and charity work to photography, baking, chess, and gardening, each activity offered meaningful opportunities to use English. I had to listen carefully, ask questions, describe actions, explain ideas, and respond thoughtfully. These real-life situations teach more than vocabulary. They help you think in English, express ideas clearly, and communicate naturally. By staying active in daily life, asking questions, repeating phrases, explaining actions, and summarizing experiences, you slowly build fluency and confidence. Even simple activities like visiting a bakery, joining a chess club, or planting a garden can become powerful lessons for advanced English practice. Everyday conversations help learners use English naturally, expand vocabulary, and apply grammar and sentence structures in real-world situations. Discussing gardening and organic farming, for example, helps practice specialized vocabulary, process explanations, and polite interaction. This morning, I visited a local farmers' cooperative. I met Mr. Davidson, who manages the distribution of fresh produce from nearby farms. I asked how they ensure quality, which fruits and vegetables are most popular, and how seasonal changes affect supply. He explained the process step by step, including harvesting, storage, and transportation. While listening, I repeated important phrases and asked follow-up questions like, how long does produce stay fresh without refrigeration? And do you focus on organic products? Conversations like this naturally build advanced vocabulary while improving polite questioning and thoughtful responses. Later, I went to a community swimming pool and met Mr. Franklin, a coach who specializes in swimming techniques. He explained breathing rhythm, body position, and arm movement. I asked for tips on endurance swimming, and he demonstrated the movements slowly so I could follow. While practicing, I listened carefully and repeated the instructions in my own words. All these experiences show that English learning is everywhere. When you use English in daily life, it becomes easier, more natural, and more confident with every conversation. In these moments, I had to describe my experience, ask for feedback, and clarify doubts in English. Sports-related conversations like these are very helpful because they teach action verbs, step-by-step language, and conditional sentences. For example, I could ask questions like, if I keep my arm straight, will my swimming stroke improve? These types of questions help learners think in English while talking about real actions and results. In the afternoon, I stopped at a local pharmacy to buy vitamins and supplements. The pharmacist, Mr. Allen, explained the difference between multivitamins and individual mineral supplements. I asked questions about daily dosage, possible side effects, and the best time to take them. He also suggested natural ways to improve energy, such as better sleep and hydration. Conversations like this help practice technical and professional English, while also teaching how to ask clear questions and respond politely in a formal situation. Later, I joined a small group discussion at a community library about renewable energy. One participant explained how solar panels, wind turbines, and hydroelectric systems work. I asked questions about efficiency, cost, and environmental impact. His answers included technical vocabulary, so I practiced paraphrasing and summarizing the information in my own words. Educational discussions like this are excellent for practicing academic and professional English, logical thinking, and formal expressions. Even simple daily activities like visiting a cooperative, going swimming, shopping at a pharmacy, or joining a discussion group can become excellent English practice. Each experience allows learners to listen carefully, ask meaningful questions, use accurate vocabulary, and respond naturally. By actively participating in real-life situations, repeating useful phrases, and summarizing experiences, learners slowly build fluency, confidence, and strong communication skills. Every interaction, whether about farming, sports, health, or technology, becomes a lesson in practical English. These experiences show that learning English does not only happen in classrooms. It happens in everyday life. Through curiosity, observation, and active participation, learners can improve vocabulary, speaking ability, and comprehension while enjoying meaningful daily activities. One day, I visited a small electronics repair shop. The technician, Mr. Lawson, explained common problems with smartphones and laptops and how to fix them. I asked detailed questions, such as which maintenance steps prevent battery problems and whether software updates should be done automatically or manually. Practicing English in a professional setting like this helped me feel more confident when discussing technical topics. In the evening, I joined a photography workshop led by Mr. Reynolds. He showed us how to use natural light and how different angles change the appearance of a photo. I asked questions about camera settings, focal length, and exposure. While practicing, I explained my choices out loud, described the results, and asked for feedback. Activities like this help learners use descriptive language naturally and learn specialized vocabulary while doing something creative. Later, I visited a local bakery to learn about artisan bread making. Mr. Phillips explained how to measure ingredients, mix dough, and make sure the bread rises properly. I asked questions about fermentation time, temperature control, and common mistakes. While following the instructions, I described each step, asked for clarification, and confirmed that I understood everything. This hands-on experience allowed me to combine instructional language with everyday conversation, making learning interactive and practical. In the afternoon, I attended a seminar on sustainable urban gardening. The instructor, Mr. Foster, explained how to compost, prepare soil, and water plants efficiently. I asked questions about plant selection, seasonal changes, and pest control. I repeated keywords silently and described how I would use these techniques at home. Educational events like this are excellent for learning technical vocabulary and practicing how to explain plans clearly in English. Even simple activities such as visiting a shop, attending a workshop, or joining a seminar can be powerful ways to practice English. Each situation gives you the chance to listen carefully, ask for clarification politely, and respond with confidence. Over time, using English in real-life settings improves vocabulary, fluency, and understanding much more effectively than passive learning. Practical experiences also help combine different language skills. When I explained my photography choices or described bread-making steps, I practiced action verbs, sequencing words, and descriptive expressions. At the gardening seminar, I used technical terms, cause and effect language, and planning phrases. These moments show that learning English is not just about memorizing words. It is about communicating ideas clearly and naturally in everyday situations. By actively participating in daily activities, asking questions politely, Explaining what you are doing and reflecting on your experiences, you can strengthen speaking, listening, and vocabulary skills at the same time. With consistent practice, English becomes a natural part of your daily life, and you begin to communicate confidently in both casual and professional situations. Later, I met my friend Mr. Carter at a local cafe. We talked about recent movies we had watched and shared our opinions about acting styles and storylines. We discussed how the characters were developed and how the plot changed throughout the movie. I asked questions about character motivation, plot development, and cinematography. Conversations like this help learners practice descriptive language, express opinions clearly, and take part in analytical discussions. Talking about movies is enjoyable and also very useful for learning how to explain ideas, give reasons, and react thoughtfully in English. In the afternoon, I joined a fitness session at the park with Mr. Daniels, who is a personal trainer. He demonstrated different stretching routines, aerobic exercises, and strength-building techniques. I asked questions about correct posture, the number of repetitions, and recovery time between exercises. Using English in fitness settings helps learners practice action verbs, follow instructions, and ask polite questions naturally. It also teaches how to describe physical movement clearly while staying engaged in the activity. Later, I visited a local bakery to observe cake decorating. Mr. Phillips explained different frosting techniques, color combinations, and piping designs. I asked questions about the tools used, the right consistency of frosting, and methods for achieving clean and precise decoration. During the practice, I described each step in English and asked for clarification when something was difficult. Practical workshops like this help learners combine technical vocabulary with everyday conversation, making learning more natural, effective, and easier to remember. In the evening, I joined a small gardening group where Mr. Green explained seasonal planting schedules and how to prepare soil properly. I asked questions about which plants grow well together, the best watering methods, and fertilization tips. This discussion allowed me to practice technical vocabulary, question forms, and clear explanations in a relaxed and natural conversational setting. Activities like meeting friends at a cafe, joining fitness sessions, observing bakery work, or participating in gardening discussions show that English learning can happen anywhere. Each situation encourages listening carefully, asking questions politely, and responding clearly. By taking part in real-life activities, learners improve their vocabulary, sentence structure, and confidence. These everyday interactions help English become part of daily life. Whether discussing movies, exercising, learning a new skill, or talking about gardening, each experience provides a chance to practice English in a meaningful way. Over time, this kind of consistent practice helps learners speak more naturally, express ideas clearly, and communicate confidently in many different situations.